All right. Oh yeah, Black Sun in the Hizzle, all for shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today. We got Nature Mom. How you doing, Nature Mom? All right.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. So we're doing a part two on alopecia today, and you're gonna
Mm,
run down the whole gambit, history and all.
yes. Give me one moment. I want to try to get a little bit more light in here because
Okay, that's fine.
this is going to be a special talk with everyone today.
Okay.
And I want them to be able to see me and,
Mm-hmm.
don't hate me, love me. I'm just bringing you the facts.
Mm-hmm.
So give me,
Just facts.
give
Okay, no problem. Okay, so basically, she's going to give some more lighting. Yeah, so yeah, this is going to be an interesting show. Oh, there we go. We got definitely got more light. Definitely got more light. So yeah, we got more shows lined up. Oh, you're muted. I think you're muted. Hold on. Let me unmute you. Oh, your mic is muted on your end. There you go. I can hear you now.
okay, okay. All
Okay.
right. You can see me better too?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hello, everybody out there. So, who's joined us today? Where are we?
So far, we got Deacons of Reality.
Hello, Deacon.
Mm-hmm.
It's so nice to have you here. I know I can't see you, but it's great to have you here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm just pulling up my notes here because there's just so much information to share with you guys. I have dug to the deepest levels to bring you guys this information today. And I've been working on it for a long time. I just had to double and triple check my sources just to make sure that everything that was going to come out today was from the most genuine and honest sources
Right.
because this is going to take us back deep.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it already.
yeah. This is going back. Particularly to one of the most famous studies from the 1920s about the Sudanese tribes,
Mm-hmm.
and um, and this is giving you not just the information from the Sudanese tribes from the 1920s, but it's giving you 100-year-old methods of hairstyling that comes from these particular tribes before any unrest, before any political interference. This is just like natural black hairstyling with some history
Okay.
behind it, and particularly what I want to talk to you guys about today is regarding how we treat ourselves and how this is carried from 100, even 1,000 years ago to today.
Dang.
So, one of my most famous sayings lately, two famous sayings is one, um, you don't know until you know.
You don't know until you know. Okay. I like that saying. I'm gonna have to start using that. You don't know
Yeah,
until you know. Ooh.
you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
And my second saying lately is that in order for everything for something to change, everything has to change. And so what that means is that once you know and you want to do something about it, then everything around it has to change.
Got you. That's deep.
So when we're talking about hair, this is a very, very personal topic for me. I have two young girls who I'm bringing into this world, and I'm teaching them how to embrace their confidence. I'm
Mm-hmm.
teaching them how to navigate other people's opinions because, as we know, opinions are like anuses. Everyone
Hmm.
has one, and we don't have to follow everyone's anus.
No, I like that.
And so here we are in the teaching stage. We are still in the teaching stage. We've been in the teaching stage, especially since we have entered the Americas. And it's a very uncomfortable state to always feel like you're in the learning stage. But here we are in the learning stage. Okay, so I'm still pulling up my notes here because for some reason, right before the show, they just decide to close. That's
Right.
just Murphy's Law. It just has to
Hmm.
happen, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it can't just be like the way it's supposed to be. Let's see, and it's not allowing me to open the whole
Oh,
the
you didn't
whole
do a
thing.
screenshot, or
No, it was
you
the
can't.
whole what do you call it? Like, you know
The whole
how
thing. Okay.
yeah, like the whole tab and then the whole thing closed
Okay.
with all of my savings.
Mm.
So, um, one of the things that I'll just pull up one for you here, which is my most recent dissertation. So this is not information I'm getting from Google, you guys. This is
Right.
not something I'm getting from left field. This is work and research that I've done myself, and I've had to take to heart as I've done this research.
Hmm.
Here we go. Let me just give me one more moment. Okay. So this is from my personal essay, thesis, dissertation, Afrocentric, the unspoken language of the cosmetic industry.
Okay.
And here we go. It just opened up. There we go. So I have it all in front of me now, you guys. Let me just try to create a split screen here. They don't give me much room, but I got something. Okay. So our screen setup is different today. I've never had a setup like this where it just stayed like this.
Okay.
Probably because I had to use a different format today because the
Mm.
last format stopped working. Okay, so let's start from the beginning, you guys. We're gonna go from the past to the present. We're gonna do it in timeline form. And Blackson, you can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Everything's
Oh, yeah. You
moving
sound
around?
good.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Sounds perfect. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for being my wake up call always.
Right.
You're the great alarm.
Right.
Even my
Well,
kids
what we're gonna
are
do, we're gonna start doing. We're gonna move this to Saturday to so it could be more convenient for you because I know the time difference and
yeah,
everything. So I
it's
definitely want
late.
to. Yeah. So
It's late here. It's already the next day for us.
yeah.
So
So yeah. Okay. So we're gonna definitely start. We're gonna move this over to Saturday. Definitely.
okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, I hope you
Hmm.
guys are into it. Um, Black Sun. One other thing is usually I can see like comments from Deacon. I can see who's with us. Today
Hmm.
I can't see anything.
Can you see that?
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
okay. Okay, yeah, I see something.
Okay.
It's still
Was your
loading.
screen is messed up or?
No, it's just in a different format. So where
Oh.
normally
Okay. Okay.
Deacon's information shows up just at the bottom or whoever's with us,
Okay.
and now it's showing up on the side. So maybe it's just an update because I don't update very
Okay.
often. I'm not very good
Right.
at that.
Right. Yeah.
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 Okay. So you guys, let's talk about so one of the um uh can you remind me one of our speakers 2 weeks ago, Yara, who joined us? Um one of someone who asked a very important question joined us 2 weeks ago. And he was actually on the panel for a moment. He said he was a little late. Do you remember who we're
Oh,
speaking of?
Yanga, Yanga, yeah.
Yanga, thank you.
Hmm,
So
yeah.
sorry, Yanga. Yeah, Yanga joined us. He asked some very poignant questions, and his questions sat really deep with me because they were actually questions that I've asked myself for a long
Right,
time. And I needed to get to the heart of those questions. And in this dissertation that I've done recently, which is about almost a 7,000 word dissertation, 30 pages of research, and not just research because it's just not information from other sources. This is a true dissertation. This is work that I've done independently. I've sent out surveys, which Blackson is aware of. Um,
absolutely.
and I sent out surveys that reached 3 continents. And I got feedback from women from Africa, women from different countries in Africa. I've gotten feedback from different states in America, and I've
Right.
gotten feedback from Black women in Europe.
Okay.
And I was able to take that data and create a quantitative study. And in this quantitative study, I was able to very unbiasedly just calculate. It was strict data only, um, where a lot of people are in their hair regimes today.
Right.
So this is not only some historical high twin. This is not just some historical data throwing facts at us. I did extract from that data very important information that is pertinent today, um, but it's also very up to date surveys
Right.
done in a quantitative method that was put into a statistical table and gave us some analytical information.
Okay.
And I've learned a lot from you guys. Thank you so much from each and every one of you who've participated in this study. Um, hi, Deacon. Um, so let me just give you some key findings from the study that I've
Okay.
done. One of the key studies is that 100% of my participants of the study have chemically straightened their hair in the past. 100%.
Right.
70% of the participants wear weaves or hair extensions,
Right.
and a third of them wear weave and hair extensions publicly, greater than 50% of the time.
Okay.
Of those who wear weaves and hair extensions, the majority of the time, job policies and social pressures are still a factor.
Wow. Okay. It don't surprise me. Dang.
Uh, 90% of participants no longer chemically alter their hair. That's beautiful information right there.
Okay.
70% of the participants of the survey um, now do their own hair themselves, declining hairdressers because of lack of trust, going natural or chemical
Right.
free.
Okay.
Accessibility is an issue, time
Okay.
costs, and self efficiency. So basically, they're feeling that they can handle their hair themselves over the value of what a hairdresser can offer them.
Okay.
So I'll just read you my conclusion. In conclusion, progressively, Black women are choosing, or Black people in general, are choosing natural beauty.
Oh
And
wow. Okay. And this is all
yes,
3 continents, or
this is
these are
all
all
three
the.
continents right
Oh, that's
now
good
that have been
news.
surveyed.
That is
Correct.
good news. That is good
That's great
news.
news.
Man, that's great
Yes.
news. Yeah.
I'll read you my abstract in just a moment. But yeah,
Okay.
this is the conclusion first.
Okay.
So the conclusion is that yeah, most women are finding self-efficacy Um, and few we still find that there are very few Black leaders in the cosmetic industry who
Right.
are addressing our health needs, our emotional, physical, and overall cosmetic needs versus the Eurocentric standard.
Right.
So this is a big factor leading to why there's so many self-educating people pulling away from the traditional standards of hairdressing and cosmetics industry. And when I say cosmetics industry, I'm talking about it globally. I'm not talking about
Right.
just sorry, one moment. Excuse me? Yes? TT. It's it's time to sleep. Wash your eye out with water. Okay. Good night. Motherhood, you guys.
That's
That's
right.
just it right there. Okay. Um, so where we were was that we are recognizing that there are very few Black leaders who are addressing the health needs and the natural needs of natural Black beauties in
Right.
within the cosmetic industry yet. And we still have a long way to go, and we are looking for reforms.
Okay.
Um, so let's go to my abstract here. Um, and I'll just read to you guys because who reads anything more than the abstract and the conclusion, anyways, when they're deciding if they're going to read a medical or a peer reviewed journal?
Right.
So within my abstract, the question that I'm asking is Afrocentric. Is it still the unspoken language of the cosmetic industry? And so that's what this composition is investigating, that I have brought you the data to. I have gone deep. I've gone from the 17th century until today and even further back than the 17th century for my data. That accentuates the identity regarding representation, culture, and hair health of Black people. And I want to also uncover in this study that I've written, I want to challenge how the Eurocentric standards of beauty have proven to be physically, psychologically, emotionally, and financially crippling
Okay.
to date. Um, the reviewed literature and the historical timeline that I've brought forth uh, presents grooming practices. It presents social measures, particularly surrounded around African culture to American culture, slavery, um, white standards. They're all included here so that we get a full view of where we started from and where we have landed to
Right.
date. Um, Furthermore, uh, I wanted to uncover as well who are the stakeholder, who are the ones who are encumbering natural Black beauties from and beauties and gents. You're all included when I say beauties. I think you're all beauties. Um, I want to know who are those who have encumbered us from experiencing genuine advancements in portrayal as far as marketing is concerned, regarding research and innovation, particularly regarding health and safety.
Mm.
So, You guys, when I come to you today and I'm talking to you about alopecia, we have the genetic form, and I'm not going to go into scientific terms here. I want to speak to everyday people because I think that when we understand everyday concerns in everyday language, then we can make everyday actions.
Okay.
And so I'm just going to talk to you about alopecia, which is a balding pattern. It 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 hits many, I mean, out of all of the people who are on the planet, you have more than 2/3 of those people affected by alopecia by the time they're 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So they are affected by this testosterone-driven form of balding that comes directly from your thyroid system. It comes also is elevated by your stress hormones like cortisol. You're lowering a um, leptin, some people call it. Um, it is affected by your nutrition. It has many factors yet that the biological industry is trying to uncover what is its true cause. And at this day and stage, as we covered before, there are no real solutions because the research is still trying to find what are the causes. You can't find a solution unless you know what are the real causes.
But didn't you give
So
us some of the causes last
I did
time?
give you some causes, yeah, some
Right.
causes have been uncovered, but, let's say
So are they refusing to it?
solutions
Okay.
solutions have not been, um, uncovered, so that means that all of the causes have not been found yet. So we
Oh,
know some solutions, right? I mean, we know that, like, testosterone is a big cause of this, male pattern baldness, which is also female pattern baldness. We
okay.
know that that's there. Um, but what we are not able to do in the biological world is give you exact reasons why yet. Besides the elevation in testosterone levels as you age, it's just a natural occurrence. Um,
Oh, so wait, testosterone raises? Because I've heard in some cases it lowers.
so okay, so what happens with men and
Okay.
women is that as you age, your testosterone raises.
Raises. Okay.
Yes. So, yes, you do have some lowering of testosterone, but it is not to the level that it does not affect other organs in your body.
Okay.
So, let's say if you have this genetic disposition of elevating testosterone, um, if your family already has this high disposition, you can experience male pattern baldness even as a female in your family system.
Right.
So let's say, for example, particularly it runs in the female line of your DNA of your chromosomal system. So if you tend to have a lot of male pattern baldness on your mother's side of the family, more than likely the males in your family will continue to carry that trait, that elevated testosterone. The females will also carry that elevated testosterone, but depending on their genetic expressions, they may or may not show this male pattern baldness, also known as female pattern baldness in
Okay.
their case. So they may or may not express it. Um, a lot of European women do express it.
Mm.
A lot of Asian women do express it. With Black women, you do have a varying scale of expression,
Okay.
which is very interesting. Why we have this difference in charting, we still don't know, but it exists. So What's more interesting and what we talked about, I thank you, Deacon. What's very interesting and we talked about in our part A of alopecia is that what I've personally discovered is, and I'll read you just the first part of my findings here,
Okay.
which uncovers it all.
All right.
Just give me 1 second as I scroll down. Ooh, they make the type so small when you want to split screen.
Mhm.
Okay, here we go. In my literary review, um, my opening, let's say, paragraph says a majority of Black women that I meet globally
Okay.
are showing major signs of severe hair damage, particularly in their facial hairline, their edges.
Right.
They appear to be having a balding pattern that only affects the African diaspora and not
Mm.
many other groups. Uh, is it possible that the chemistry of hair cosmetics, the social pressures to fit a a singular beauty standard, and the spoken and unspoken workplace policies that make healthy styles for natural Black people feel unwelcome are main factors behind this type of alopecia for Black people?
Right.
So, thank you, twin. Um, so absolutely, this is what I found in my personal findings here. Um, in this only 8-week study. This is only 8 weeks, guys. I wish I could have like put more in for you guys because this is very important information. Everywhere I go, every single continent I see from the U.S. Uh, or should I say in the Americas in general, when I see particularly, I'm gonna point this right at Black women because these are the people that I see most affected by this condition. They
Okay.
don't just have one type of balding, like I mentioned before. They have multiple forms of balding at one time.
Right.
And this particular balding that we're talking about at their edges, and
Right.
sometimes, you can see ladies who have this very exaggerated parted line in the middle of their
Hmm.
hair. That's not a natural occurrence. That is called traction alopecia.
Oh, from the weaves.
It's not just, it's from weaves,
Okay.
it's from braiding,
Braiding.
it's from
Okay.
twisting,
Twisting.
it's from dreads, it's from different hairstyling practices such as blow drying,
Right.
straightening our hair, from gosh, I mean, just the list goes on and on. It's from so many different styling practices that we have
So
adapted
this would
for
fall in, I guess, styling would, like you said, would be a form of causing the alopecia also, like the combing, the blow drying, the
brushing,
braiding, the twisting, the brushing,
picking,
picking, combing. Man. Ponytail. Let's not forget that.
buns,
Right.
curlers,
So it's like the hair is sensitive, very
the
with the
scalp, the
scalp. Yeah.
actual hair follicle itself.
Yeah.
So, what's happening is that we're creating these styles for centuries on end now.
Okay.
Where, okay, so we're going to go back to Egypt now, you guys,
All right.
where a lot of our topographs are coming from, that's showing some of our oldest hairstylings in African culture.
Right.
These braids, um, and this braiding pattern, particularly like the Funani braids,
Hmm.
the dreading. So many of these styles go all the way back to Egypt being able
Egypt.
to document it for us.
Okay.
They document it on their walls. Have you ever seen these Egyptian, and I know all of you have seen it, these Egyptian drawings,
Yeah.
um, where you have some people that are bald
Yeah.
and some people that are fully, like, covered with hair. There's 2 things I wanna throw at you today that I wasn't aware of until I started this study. Um, the people who are bald, uh, um, were usually always bald. This is how they wore their hair on a daily basis, without any applications at all.
Mm.
The people who wore their hair in those pictures in braids, thank you, Deacon, again. People who wore their hair in those braided styles, most of those braids were wigs and they were
Oh,
extensions
okay.
all the way back to Africa. I mean, to,
Mm.
Egypt itself, in our oldest pictographs. These wigs, these weaves, they actually go to very ancient styles of hair adornment uh, that covers many, many Western, Eastern African tribes where women were adding to their hair fibers. They were adding silk. They were adding
Mm.
straw and different elements from the earth. It could be even clay itself. And they were adding it to their hair because it declared their status in their tribal situation.
Okay.
So it declared whether or not they were married. It declared whether or not they were healthy and eligible for marriage.
Right.
It declared whether or not they were fertile,
Right.
which was very important. It declared whether they were elite or whether they were,
Of course.
considered more, um, let's say, layman.
Right.
And
So
all of
caste system.
it was definitely a caste system that was brought before us through hair.
That y'all's
All
a
these,
whole other show. We gon' but go ahead.
oh, oh, really? It's
Yeah.
very a deep, and it's something that is still sitting with us to this day.
Hmm.
And that's part of what I'm here um to to I'm here as a plea, you guys, really. I- um I've learned a whole new mission through this writing. Like I said, this has been an 8-week study for me, and I have really poured my life and my heart and yes, thank you, Deacon, and all my knowledge into understanding this unbiasedly, because this is no longer something that we can blame white culture for. Yes, white culture
Ooh.
definitely brought white supremacy into this story at a certain point, but many of these behaviors carry very far back in our African lineage. And as the rest of the world and technology, the tech industry, everything is progressing, it's time for us to progress as well.
Right.
And um, and here we are. Here's the need for progression, and the first thing we need to progress with to move forward is ourselves.
That's right.
So, when we're talking about hair, you guys, this is this is the first thing and the biggest thing that has carried us. Like, oh, I don't know what other word to say except for unchained,
Right.
um, from the beginning of time till now as a Black culture. Um, we have we have concerned ourselves and we have attached ourselves to our hair regimes and practices from written time until now.
Right.
And what hasn't changed are our practices. And these practices are still as damaging as they were thousands of years ago as they are today.
Right.
So, what am I saying exactly, you guys? I'm talking about, thank you for your agreement, Deacon. I'm talking about some um, deep psychology here within the Black culture. We've really done a lot for thousands of years to meet a standard that's not ours, and it's time to meet our own standards. So what I'm saying is it's really time for us to learn ourselves, and then behind learning ourselves, love ourselves.
But you say it goes back to antiquity. So was there interference, I guess, during the Egyptian Empire, I guess by the Greeks? Is that what we're looking at? Or does it go beyond that? Because um you said Egypt was having this issue. So I know there were several, well, there's I mean, different periods of time.
Right, right.
And so I know there's a Greek occupation, and then I know there was a Hyksos occupation also.
Yes.
Does it go before that? Because I mean, we're talking about 3,000 plus years.
So let's be honest, you guys. I mean, as much as we are very connected to our brown brothers and sisters globally, there is a group that completely outlives the white supremacy that we have experienced from Europeans. Europeans were our second white supremacy,
Right.
um, let's say, influence. The Arabs were our first. And
Yes.
this goes very, very far back. We've had white supremacy like drilled into our psyche for a very long time. And this white supremacy that because we know Arabs are majority brown people,
Right.
but this white supremacy in the Arab culture dates back thousands of years.
Right. Absolutely.
So we are, uh, like Twin says, back to natural. It's absolutely our time to not be, let's say, bought. We've been bought for a long time. The highest bidder, the highest, when the Songhai and other, very big cultures of Western Africa lost their their what's the word? Their empirical um, status, and we were scattered across the Africas to find the next highest bidder for employment. The
Hmm.
Arabs were next, and the Arabs within themselves have and they still have very, very um, deep rooted systems of colorism,
Absolutely.
of they've got a lot of healing to do when it in regards to their own. I mean, there's you guys wouldn't believe it when I tell you, but there are people all over the Gulf region who look like us and
Yep.
even darker. It doesn't even matter, but they feel a sense of separation because they feel Arab versus us. If they
Right.
were in South Central Compton, if they were in, Ninth Ward, if they were in any other area of America that was considered the Black neighborhood, which a lot of them that I've met have lived,
Right.
um,
Wow.
uh, when they were in US, they were considered as Black as us.
Right.
Here, they consider themselves separate as Arabs. And this
Right.
is a very deep-rooted classism that still needs a lot of education. It needs a lot of excavation, and of course, in the end, a lot of erasure.
Right.
So these things are very embedded in our psyche, and they have been intentionally embedded in our psyche. So particularly with the Arabs, the thing that you'll find that's very strong is they could be the same or even darker shades as us, but they feel like the fineness of their hair. So let's say the curvature of their hair shafts from this, let's say curved follicle shape
Yeah.
versus the straight follicle shape, meaning that their hair grows straighter. They feel a sense of superiority over it to this day.
Right.
Um, and I'm here to erase these myths
Absolutely.
because bottom line is, yeah, we're all mixed now. Everywhere we go, we're all mixed. And that's not what's important. What's important is that in when we're looking at these commercials and we're watching this marketing that's being thrown at us, what we're not realizing is that these intentional methods of digging into the deep psyches of this dogmatic information of exactly, Deacon, of not erasing these myths, of not being transparent with the
Hmm.
past and bringing it into the future so that we can make informed decisions is still plaguing us. So yes, okay, we love the Funani braids. I wear them. I put them in my children's hair every day. I started to discover quite a few years ago, though, that wearing the Funani braids was starting to really pull at my
Right.
hairline. My hairline was not something that I spent a lot of time fussing over. I didn't tame my edges, as it's called in Instagram world today. But I did started to notice just this pull, this constant pull,
Right.
and particularly these raised bumps that were
Oh,
occurring from the braiding.
okay.
I was doing the braiding myself, so I know that I wasn't pulling too hard
Right. Right. Yeah.
per se.
Ooh.
But what I was discovering was that a day, 2, 3 days, even after gentle braiding, I would have these raised hair follicles. And, yeah,
Mm.
absolutely, twin. There is absolutely no such thing as good hair, because no hair is good hair if you're bald. So,
That's a good
so,
point.
uh, when with my gentle braiding, these hair follicles were raising above the hairline. So that means that they kind of made a pimple-like shape, a
Right.
domed shaped, versus the follicle going inward like it naturally would.
Yeah.
The hair, the root of the hair shaft was being pulled out of the hairline. So let's say this is the hairline, and it
Yeah.
was being pulled out of the hairline to a point. And eventually, the hair would pull out of that joint completely
Yeah.
and the hair removed. And it started to, this is what began me on this journey of research. It started to make me ask the question, okay, I'm not pulling at my hair. I'm being very gentle here.
Right.
I'm not using combs, brushes. Um, I'm not trying to do anything, drastic with my hair. Why am I
Okay.
having this? And I'll share with you guys even a little secret. When I wash my hair, you know, uh, I wash my hair a few times a week, not with harsh chemicals, of course, but I have my hair routine. I'm washing my hair, and I have this routine of wrapping it in a non terry cloth towel to let it dry.
Okay.
And even I found recently, wrapping it in this cloth after I detangle my hair and I put it in my little, I call them rosettes. So that's like, some people call them Bantu knots. Some people call them,
Yeah.
have many names for it. I very gently put them in these little knots all over my hair. And then I put this cloth over my head just so that the wetness can drain out without putting any more strain on my hair.
Okay.
And I notice, because sometimes, depending on the region that I'm living in, if it's particularly a cold region, this process can take days to dry.
Right.
Um, and as I'm wrapping my hair in this cloth, um, eh, when I'm living in northern regions, a lot of white people love it. They're just like, I love the way you wrap your hair. It's so beautiful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it gives me a little sense of my, African roots that I can feel so proud of.
Hmm.
What I've discovered is that somehow it creates this pull on the back of
Wow.
my head.
Right.
And these raised hair shafts that I've seen in the front from the Funani braids, I'll also see in the back from
Right.
wrapping my hair from this towel. Gentle wrapping, not a hard pull at all. And back to the study that I've done, um, these scientists went into different tribes of Africa, and just these are observation studies. They're not qualitative studies where they go in and they're doing statistical data per se. This is more observational, so these will be quantitative studies where they're just sitting and observing behavior. And what they found were these different styles. It started in African regions. They went into the Americas. They went into different regions where diaspora were living, um, all over the world, Egypt, Brazil, different places. And they found that there was this traction style of alopecia happening,
Hmm.
from people wearing curlers too long, from people because curlers, I mean, all of you guys who were born, let's say in the 80s and beyond, you remember
Right.
the curlers.
Yep.
People used to
Absolutely.
wear curlers 24 hours a day
Yep.
as a hairstyle. And these curlers were actually causing traction alopecia. They were creating a permanent style of baldness pattern
Scarring. Right.
along the edge line. And usually you see a lot of damage in the midline,
Yeah.
the edge line, and of course, not so often where we have a lot of strength in the crowning areas and in the back. But yeah, rollers. Thank
Yep.
you, twin. I couldn't remember the word exactly. Yeah, you don't hear that anymore. But
Right.
yeah, these rollers. Um, these rollers were 80s baby, exactly, Deacon. These rollers were creating globally this style of
Wow.
traction alopecia. And these scientists were able to record this alopecia all over the place, to show us that it was not just regional. And
Mm.
what I uncovered in digging into these studies was that these rollers, the wearing a bun. I wear a bun quite often, you guys. You see my bun from week to week. You see me in my bun. I try to change it up. Actually, like my new routine is that I don't wear the same hairstyle for more than 4 days now.
Okay.
I change it, if I can, every 2 to 3 days. Because what they found were these women enrollers in Egypt, in South America, in these different regions that were trying to use rollers to erase their natural pattern of curliness, were wearing them so often that they were causing
I mean,
permanent
alopecia.
damage.
Right. Mm.
And unfortunately, if you don't change these patterns of a regime fast enough, you will find permanent damage, permanent hair loss.
Right.
They were able to recover some people who changed their hairstyles in its earliest stages. So, what I found as a personal practice is that one, and it's not easy to do. I will attest, it's not easy to not create any traction on the follicle.
Hmm.
I've done many things. Like I said, I told you guys, I wear twists. I love my little twists. They're easy. It works for multiple nations. It works for lack of good natural resources when you're traveling. It's just a great all around hairstyle. I'm trying to bring some light today, in particular. My husband tried to help me, but unfortunately, oh, oops, I'm dropping
Uh-oh.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we still don't have a great lighting system here, and we're not going to spend money on it because we're still working on our financial health, and
Right.
we're getting better and better at that financial health. And so I'm very stickler at not buying what we don't absolutely need.
Right.
um, right now we just don't have the finances, but I don't know if that's helped at all. No, that didn't really help at all. Okay, let me put the lamp back.
That's fine
Because
right
I'm
there. Yeah, that's
okay.
fine. Hmm.
So as you can see, there was a time where I really embraced braiding. It was just such a great style. It was
Right.
easy. It felt very protective. Um, it worked for, let's say, navigating the Eurocentric work world, sacrifices, exactly. It worked for, motherhood. It worked for so many things that made my life easier. And like I said, I was not going to a shop anymore, like many of my surveyors in my study. I lost faith and hope in salons as the professionals for my hair health. So I was braiding my hair myself. I learned how to braid at 8 years old. My mother, she was paralyzed on one side at a young age, so she lost ability to use her hands. And even before that, um, she wasn't very good at doing hair. And then after she recovered from this paralysis, she was still not good at doing hair. So I
Mm.
was left on my own to navigate a world that was very European, Eurocentric in their
Right.
beauty standards, and put a lot of pressure on me, even from the Black communities, to fit a particular standard of beauty that was not natural to me. And so I learned how to braid hair at about 7.5, 8 years old, just so that I wouldn't be made fun of, bullied. Um, I was tough to bully, but even yet, the tough bullies showed up.
Right.
and and in response, I learned how to take care of my hair myself from a very young age. Where that has brought me is the ability to really know how curly hair works.
Right.
My husband is not African diaspora, but he has uh, from a young age he has naturally curly hair. His hair was almost as spirally as me and my children at stages of his life, and he has lost his curl pattern as well
Mm.
because of European standards
Wow.
and and the products that are in stores. So absolutely, Deacon, self-care is the key. Um, and I'm so glad that you guys are with me here in this conversation because it really is the key. When you can't self-care until you know what's not being cared for.
Right.
And what I've learned, what hasn't been cared for is number one, our emotions and our psyche when it comes to these, our like what we consider our standards of beauty. First things that I teach my children is that our hair never has to be slicked down. It never has to
Right.
be straight. As you can see, my fluffy edges are always fluffy.
Yeah.
I do not encumber them in any way. I keep them as fluffy and as spirally as possible. I actually, spend time in the evenings, sometimes just sitting and feeling each curl and
Hmm.
appreciating them. So, like Twin Pyramid says, accept yourself. It's just that simple. And I have fully embraced myself. What they call now the big chop, when you release
Right.
yourself from chemical products. I did the big chop back in 1994.
94. Okay.
And so this is way before the curly girl movement.
Right.
And, there were many people who didn't understand what I was doing at the time. And so, to be honest with you, I didn't understand what I was doing at the time. I just knew I didn't like what I was living. I didn't like all this chemical process. And there was just something, with the way that my hair looked against my face that I felt didn't look like me, even though I wasn't sure what
Right.
I looked like yet.
Hmm.
And somehow my heart took the leap. And I'm so grateful for it to this day, because what we're talking about almost 94. So we're almost 2 decades here
Yeah.
of completely natural. Before this point, from 1994 chop, I didn't know my natural hair because, like I said, because of my mother's um, inabilities and lack of knowledge, to be honest, and to her physical inabilities
Right.
from her accident. She allowed a neighbor to chemically treat. Oh, 3 decades. Oh my gosh, Deacon, I will never forgive you for this, never. But thank you for uncovering the truth of that math. 3 decades. I was in denial. Oh my gosh. Ah, Deacon, I loved you before this moment, but I still love you. Yes, 3 decades. I have been natural. Yes. Um, so before that moment, um, I had no idea about my natural hair because since my mom was not able to do it, um, um, she allowed a friend, a neighbor, to take care of my hair for her.
Right.
And this neighbor automatically put a chemical straightener in my
Good.
hair.
Right.
Oh, thank you, Deacon. So yes, this neighbor put a chemical treatment in my hair from age 4. So from age 4 um, until 1994, I never saw my true hair.
Wow.
I never saw my true pattern. I
Hmm.
never knew what my hair looked like without chemical straightening.
Mm.
And so I don't know, whatever moved my heart at that time, I just decided that the hair that I was wearing did not match my face. And I decided to chop it all off and to find my true self and never turn back. I'm very happy that I never turned back.
Right.
Um, do I feel like that has brought me to where I am? Absolutely. Has it made me some type of expert in the hair field? I think absolutely. I have two natural daughters
Right.
who, this is not just a matter of teaching them how to care for their scalp and their hair. This is a matter of teaching them how to stand up for who they are as human beings on this planet.
Yes.
And it's a matter of complete loving yourself in a non-narcissistic way, in a way that's important for evolving a community that has been suppressed for a long time. And I think maybe it was Twin or Deacon who brought up in the comments here that we're talking about lineages of just hiding our identity and our true selves. So I'm going to appeal to you guys today because we're going back to, again, we're going to ages of styles. Even we're
Right.
talking about um, twisting dreadlocks. We're talking about twisting hair. We're talking about pulling our hair in ponytails
Hmm.
and buns. Nothing wrong with any of those things. What becomes a physical maldysfunction is when we're actually pulling these styles so tight.
Right.
And we're not talking about tight for our standards. We're talking about tight for our hair follicle standards. When we're
Mm.
pulling our follicles so tight that they start to raise at attention, when they start to say, you've gone too far,
Right.
then you got to start to step back, people. You've got to say, something's not right here because my body is reacting. It's telling me that this is not right.
Hmm.
Um, I've stopped wrapping my hair after a wash, simple wash. I've stopped wrapping my hair tight where I used to put this cute little, African knot in the front, my cute little, African tie. No,
Yes.
I stopped wrapping my hair. And I started to ask my scalp and my hair, what's going to be comfortable for you? Because I don't need to mutilate you for any standard.
Right. That's deep.
Um, And I think that that's just like Deacon is saying right now, self awareness is powerful.
It is.
When you just like acknowledge yourself, you acknowledge your hair, you acknowledge the small symbols and signs.
Hmm.
I see so many on Instagram. I'm not a very good Instagrammer, social media follower. I'm gonna be
Okay.
honest with you. Due to my profession, I should be much better at it. I'm criticized often, not only in educating, but also in the world of music and different things. I should be better at these platforms if I want to try to compete in this world. Competition is not my biggest. I competed as a young person when I had the energy. Competition is not my biggest aim at this point in my life. So no, I don't spend a lot of time on social media. I spend more time reading and researching. I think that this is important for me right now. Um, Although I do respect that that is something that is leading us to a new education. So I do want to spend some time in it, making sure that I am educating myself because that's what my children especially are into.
That's
And
right.
I want to be aware of what's going on. But I'm finding when I search in many social media platforms, natural hair, quite often I'm getting this feedback of dreading, twisting, all these different techniques. And I'm seeing people, I have to take a breath when I even say it. I'm seeing so many people um, getting these fresh twists,
Hmm.
and their hair is being pulled to the
Right.
maximum.
Yep.
Um, I see people getting these fresh braidings, and their hair is just like s- pulled, you guys.
Right.
If you love that hair and you don't want to start seeing a major sign of baldness by the time you're 40 years old, you need to start loving your curls. They're beautiful. I every day I sit and I go through my scalp and I enjoy my little curlies and I run my
Mhm.
fingers through them and I appreciate them and I love the lumpiness of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love how they come out of my scalp so naturally. I love how they are self-moisturizing. I love, these different aspects of my curls. Normally, not that you guys have seen me very often because usually you guys see me late at night, and at night, I do tie up my hair for safety, for its safety, because let's
You
be
can rub it
honest,
against the yeah,
every fabric we are
fabric, right.
rubbing against, every piece, stitch of clothing we're wearing is at attack of our hair.
Wow.
Every piece. I mean, cotton is one of the most major culprits, cotton, linen,
Oh, we got it in
any
everything too.
everything.
Pillowcases are
Everything that is a
yeah.
weaving fatter pattern, our hair, especially with the spirals, like to spiral right into it, and then when you
Oh,
pull these things off of your head, you're pulling your spirals right out with them.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, don't stress your hair, Deacon, absolutely. Taking the stress off of our hair will reverse this, should we say, auxiliary type of alopecia that I'm seeing all over the world that is particularly attacking the African diaspora. You don't see it in European culture. You don't see it in Asian culture. You
Right,
don't see it in these different groups because they are not using the same practices that we've been using and that we're still trying to regain. We're still trying to learn new things. Twin is saying right now that he keeps a silk wrap on his hair. Yeah, silk is great because it's a natural fiber. But Twin, I'm going to share with you some very deep secrets about silk. Silk, before we had these synthetic, or what do they call them, yakalon, or I don't even remember all the terms that they use for this synthetic fiber that a lot of people are using to braid into their hair to create length. Before this, centuries ago, many African cultures are still using it. They used to braid in silk with their hair.
right.
um, Anything that you add to your hair fiber is creating weight, and every weight that you create to your hair fiber is pulling on your hair follicle.
Oh, wow.
So, one of the things that you want to be very careful of is not putting any pressure at all on your hair follicle. Another thing is, like I said, like Twin and like Deacon, um, have mentioned, I've gotten Italian silk. I've gotten so many great satin wraps, satin bonnets, so many things. Um, One of the things I've noticed, especially with these bonnets from the US, because whenever I go back to US, I always like these big bonnets that you could get for showering and for, sleeping in and for different things.
Mhm.
Because they're just convenient. You don't have to, if my hair is down, and when my hair is down, it's big. And, so sometimes I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to dry it out. So I'll just slip this bonnet on top. Some of them have this elastic fiber at the edge.
Right,
These elastic fibers, uh, just the pressure of the elastic itself creates so much stress on the edges of my face.
right.
I Because sometimes I wear them on
See
my
it dent.
face,
Yeah, on your yeah,
and because I could feel how they're pulling on my edges,
yeah.
how they're pulling against my hairline. I'll wear them on my face, and I'll wake up in the morning with,
Little
we won't
indents.
call it scarring, but with
Indents,
indentations.
yeah.
Yes, and, so that just lets you know how much pressure is being put on your own hair throughout the
Mhm.
night when you are wearing it on your hairline. So yeah, I kind of wear it as a badge of honor to like show, yeah, I protected my hair at all costs, that I'm wearing it on my face. um, so I'll let my face take the beating over my hair many times. Because to be honest with you, I think the skin on our face is much less
Tougher.
delicate than the
Yeah.
skin on our
Skin is
scalps.
tougher. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, we really have to respect that whenever I'm wearing a head wrap, where in the region where I am right now, abayas are very commonplace. They're very traditional here. Women are covering from head to toe. Um, Whenever I'm wearing any type of head wrap, I'm very careful to keep it below my hairline versus
Right.
on my hairline.
Right.
Um, does it leave marks on my face? Absolutely. Um, will people who don't understand ask me about the marks on my face? Will my children ask me about the marks on my face? Absolutely.
Right.
And one of the things that I often say is it's the cost of protection.
Mm.
Um, you guys, uh, musically, I've been very into reggae music and the lineage of reggae music for quite some time now. And thank you, Deacon. Um, and uh, you know, dreadlocks, the Rastafarian culture is very, very, very close to my heart right now. I love, what they stand for in their naturality and in their embracing of themselves. Um, but this twisting style, this tight twisting, this is also a part of this traction issue. Same
Hmm.
as braiding, same as ponytails, wearing wigs too often, and the wigs are pulling on the hairline. It's all the same, traction pulling that's causing this baldness pattern. And so, I just appeal to you all. I think it's time that there's been so many movements, right? I mean, currently, since the George Floyd incident, there's the Black Lives Matter, or what they call the curly girl movement. You also have from the 60s, the Black is Beautiful movement.
Right.
um there before the 60s, you just had the people who had, their typical issues, and they just absolutely refused to use the straightening systems of the Madam Walker and the Madam Malloy era, and
Hmm.
they just went natural against community standards and against global standards. And
Okay.
I really feel that it's time that we completely love and embrace our natural Black beauty as a symbol of um, of our place in this world that has just been um, pulverized and annihilated time and time again. We keep coming back, but it keeps getting pulverized.
Right.
And I think that it's time that we just love and embrace ourselves for every curl. I'm actually creating right now a series, a regime that allows Black women like me. I'm, of course, as Deacon pointed out, you know, I'm in. I've given some decades in now, so I have spent my time on this planet, and in these decades, I've been an athlete. I've been, very active in my life. I do like physical fitness, and my number one sport from high school until this day has been swimming. I've recently embraced running, which I didn't think I liked for many decades, and I've been running every day this week to embrace something new. I've been a speed walker for quite some time, um, and like I said, moving from a region to region, you deal with different climates. I've walked, ran, mostly walked, and sported in the snow, in the rain.
Hmm.
I've done it all, and here I am now in the desert heat every day, where it is already about 40 degrees. So I forgot what that is in Fahrenheit. So 40 degrees, about
Oh yeah,
100
different.
degrees.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we're talking about 100 degrees.
yeah.
Thank you, Deacon. 100 degree at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm getting up and I'm running in about a
Hmm.
100 degree weather
Wow.
every day. Um, and so what I've had to learn over this time, is that my natural hair deserves um, its health, it deserves its
Right.
circulation, it deserves its exercise, and how to manage my natural hair through swimming, through running, through all these things, not just wearing one style day in, day out, and creating this traction, this constant traction, and this one way of styling that can create a lot of damage that can be irreversible. So this is one thing that I appeal to all of you. It's really time, and I'm very hardworking on teaching a regime that allows people like us to fully embrace our lives, to not be worried when humidity falls, to not be worried when the rain falls out of nowhere, to not be angry when our kids spray us with water because we don't want our hair messed up or our weaves to shrink up. But learning how to wear hairstyles that are allowed to shrink, to stretch, to do what they're going to do in their natural
Right.
their elements and styles. I've been living this now, like Deacon said, for 3 decades.
Yeah.
I swim regularly. I walk daily. I run daily. I sweat. I probably sweat half of today, you guys. Half of today. I wear my big hair out every day. And my big hair, it shrinks, it falls, it does what it's gonna do. And what I've learned in this journey personally is that I'm learning to love myself and my curls in every step that it is in. And I think that that's where we are when we can let go of having to have these. There was a woman from the United States last time I was there. I'm trying to remember the term she said to me. Why don't you lay your edges? She said to me,
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
which was a very uh, new term for me.
Right.
I don't. Yeah, I've this is not something that I grew up with, so it's not something I was used to. But she said, "Why don't you lay your edges?" You know, and I don't know. The first imagery that came to my mind when she said, "Why don't you lay your edges?" was like me with a sickle in my hand, and just like ripping my edges off. I was like, "No, I don't want to
Right.
lay my
Right.
edges."
Right.
No, I love my edges. I said, "Why don't I lay my edges?" Is because I love my edges.
Good
It's just like
answer.
here
Yes.
in the East when I go into a cosmetic shop and I'm just looking for a natural soap, and the shop attendant takes me right to the wall of skin whiteners. And they're like, they
Wow.
show me the skin whiteners, and I say to them, "My dear, my brown skin is my beauty. I am not about to erase my beauty."
That's right. Oh man, good stuff.
So I think
Good
that
stuff.
that's where we are as
Yeah.
Black people. you know um
Oh, so it's
we
almost like warfare going on now. It's
it's
almost like
it's like
another
war
type of
for
warfare. Yeah.
it's not like going right now. This has been going on to the beginning ages.
Absolutely.
You guys, I'm going to read a quote from my studies, and I think that this is one of the most poignant quotes of my complete dissertation. And if you would just be patient with me, I'm gonna pull it up right here. Um, and I believe, let me just make sure before I put any lines out there. Maybe this is it. Because I did a lot of studying, you guys. I didn't just look up one source. I'm
Right.
not that
Multiple sources.
personality. I looked up so many sources
Hmm.
and I put them all together. I even went back to 16th century poetry that talked about Black women, slave women and their hair, and learned a lot from this poetry. It's all about how we see ourselves. That's how the world sees us. If we don't love and appreciate ourselves and adorn ourselves, and this is what I learned from poetry by here, I'll even share with you a poet, Luis de Gongora, and he wrote this piece called En la fiesta del Santísimo Sacramento. And it was a very long piece, beautiful piece from 1609. And it was about two sisters who were preparing themselves for a Corpus Christi um, s- uh, a South American celebration of the Spanish. They were preparing for Corpus Christi Day. This was very important for the white elites of their time. And so, for the Blacks to be able to prepare themselves for this occasion, they really adorned themselves. They did everything they can. They brought out their best pieces of clothing for this Corpus Christi Day. And in this poem, Luis de Gongora really depicted these two sisters preparing for this festival as one sister who sat in anxiety because white culture never accepted her, and she was just fully embracing this non-acceptance and this sadness from not being accepted, where the second sister fully embraced the occasion, and she embraced her what Gangora called black speech. She embraced her black speech. She embraced they use this style of coal and alcohol to put actually this method is used still to this day in Arab culture. They use this very particular um they use this very particular herbal mixture to make this,
Like
you could
makeup.
call it eyeliner,
Hmm.
but we actually use it. You probably can't even see it on me because I don't put enough to actually line my eyes. But what we use it for here is it improves your eyesight. It's very herbal and dense,
Hmm.
and it's actually used to protect your eyes against the sand because there's so many fine grains of sand
Right.
here.
Hmm.
And so it's really amazing, that all these things are showing themselves up in history in so many different places all over the world. These practices have been used over and over again. But let me go back to the quote that I wanted to share with you in particular, which is hard to find. There was a writer who talked about bad hair. And I don't know if many of you have ever seen Chris Rock's documentary on bad hair. It was really very well done. It was definitely in the beginning of a journey of talking about this ideology put into us
Right.
about what bad hair and good hair is. Um, and I'm going to close out right here
Okay.
with this quote as soon as I find it. And I know it's right in front of me, but unfortunately, when the text is small, I have
Right. It's
much
strange.
harder
Yeah.
time. Yeah, much harder time to find it. Okay, wait, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay, so if I'm not incorrect, is here. Sorry for the silence, guys. I can't talk and read at the same time.
Oh no, you good. You good. You
It's
good.
like patting your
Yeah.
head and rubbing your belly.
Hmm.
Okay, here we go. Yes. So this is a quote by where we go? By Susanna Walker.
Okay.
She wrote an article, a peer-reviewed journal that is entitled "I Am Not My Hair: African American Women and Their
Right.
Struggles with Embracing Natural Hair." This is Randall from 2015. And the most poignant quote of her whole study, of her whole composition, was Black people's issue with skin color and hair texture have their origin in white people's issues with
Wow.
skin color and hair texture. Just know that it's not your problem. This is my new quote everywhere I go. When people try to bring their drama to me, I don't care what their drama is. Um, I'm busy. I got my 2 hours of reading to do every day on my own, plus all my studying on top of that,
Yeah.
plus my writing, everything else I'm building, this education course that I'm building to teach people how to love themselves. Um, Absolutely that. um, your problem is not my problem. And when people, they really try to suck you, vacuum you into their
They do.
problem, they
They
want you
do.
so much to live their problem. And the thing that I've learned to do is I lean in very close and I say to them, it's not my problem.
I like that. All right. Well, I want to thank you, Nature Mom. I want to thank everybody, Twin,
Thank you guys so much,
Deacon,
really.
Black Onyx daughter. That's Michelle. Michelle, we want to see you soon, sister. We want to see you soon. She has a show, Fitness Fridays, and yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank the people in the crowd clouds that didn't leave a comment. Nature Mom, this was good. This is really good. Man, powerful, powerful. Wow.
I just
Um,
love sharing with you guys, and thank you for sharing with me.
right. So, Nature Mom, your new day will be Saturday,
Okay.
and we will adjust it according to your time. So, like I said,
Okay.
um, whatever time you choose, we're I'm gonna put up the notification, and that's gonna be the new time.
Okay.
So you let us know,
Okay.
and yeah, we'll set it up, and that way, it could be some daylight where you're at, and yeah.
So yeah, give me an idea, especially you guys. Maybe you can leave Black Sun some comments. What do you guys feel about your evening? Versus like for me, this is 2:30 in the morning for me. I'm kind of thinking like maybe reaching you guys in your Saturday evenings. Um, you know, so that's kind of where I leave it.
Well, I know Twin and Deacon. Sometimes I do shows from the truck, and it's like way like 12 o'clock my time. So I mean, I know they're available, and then yeah, they're available at that time. So um they're pretty much, yeah, they're pretty much my sound guys. So they attend, and I've seen them as early as like my time, like 9 o'clock in the morning, because I've
Okay.
done so. Yeah, sometimes I'll just listen to the radio, and then something just pop up to me, and I'll cut the camera on, and then they're right there. So
Wow.
if we
Okay,
do a
so
Saturday,
I think that like I'm thinking was Saturday more
yeah,
like mm, so it would actually like time wise be my morning, so it'd be more
yeah,
like Sunday morning,
hmm,
which would be your Saturday late night. How
okay.
would you guys feel, Deacon, Twin? Uh, whoever else is out there. What do you guys think about that? Just kind of like throw that out there, like a more later evening show. Deeper conversations like this later in the evening. Is it too deep for late evenings, or let me know how your energy flows.
Okay. Um.
Thank
So
you,
you're
Deacon.
yeah.
Deacon's in. I like that. Thank you, Deacon.
Okay.
Okay, twin says he's in too. Okay. Okay. So we can look in that direction. So I'm
Okay.
thinking, yeah, Saturday evenings might work. It'd be, I like to make Saturdays productive because Sundays start my week.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Cool. All right. Well. And even Onyx daughter said, yeah,
Okay.
cool. She's down with it too. Okay. So yeah, we'll roll with that. And yeah, Deacon said it'll be whatever. We'll be there. Yeah. They've been like I said. I've like I said thrown on shows 9 o'clock in the morning, and boom, they were there. So I was like, okay. And I was
I
just
love
going to
it.
do like a just like sometimes I'll just do like a just what's going to happen, like the weekly lineup. I'll just let everybody know, refresh them on that. So yeah.
Great,
Um
great.
and speaking
And
of
I
lineup, we're gonna have Onyx daughter not this Friday, but she's gonna come on next following Friday because she's getting new equipment. So
great.
so we're anxious to see her again. So yeah. And I believe tomorrow we're gonna have Scheme on. So yeah, we got the lineup. So yeah. Thank you again, Onyx daughter,
Thank
and
you. Thank you
thank everybody
guys.
for coming out. Yeah, and we will see y'all next week.
Great to talk to you.
Yeah, well, we'll see you on Saturday. Well, the following Saturday, Onyx daughter.
Okay, so we
Okay,
not
Onyx
this
daughter.
coming 2 days, but in 1 week from now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
fantastic.
So yeah,
All right, you
instead of
guys.
doing Thursday, we'll just do that following Saturday. Yeah,
Love it. Love it.
cool.
I hope that you guys enjoyed this talk today, because it was really, this one was a hard one for me because it really challenged all of our practices in the
Absolutely.
Black community for ages, and you know I knew that it wasn't going to sit comfortable with everyone, but it's an important topic, I think.
Right. All right, y'all. We out. Peace. Bye, y'all.